Hey everyone. So I wanted to make this video to kind of give everyone a status update as well as sort of a historical documentation about my right foot, which, hard to believe, in less than 48 hours, it's going to be gone. It'll either be just medical waste or used to help teach Harvard students about abnormal foot anatomy. So the plan is that tomorrow morning, my friend's going to take me to the Lowell commuter station. Hopefully, the trains will be running a normal schedule. Maybe they'll just be modified. But yeah, from there, I'm going to catch the commuter rail down into Boston. I'm going to spend the night there because I'm supposed to be at the hospital at 5:45 a.m. Yeah, that early. So early, I'm gonna have to get an Uber from the hotel to the hospital because the train, the T subway and buses don't actually start running till 5:45, the time I'm supposed to be at the hospital. So it's gonna be a very early morning for me, and yeah, then I go into surgery. Right now, the big nor'easter, well, it's more than just a northeast storm is going on. So yeah, there's gonna be a ton of snow, which is the other reason why I want to kind of get down to Boston tomorrow. Obviously, we're gonna be under a couple of feet, but my friend's like, no, I'm gonna get up early, snowplow, and get you to the station, so that way you can get down there, get checked into the hotel, and get a few hours of rest and relaxation before the big chop chop. So I think everyone knows sort of my history with my foot. I was born with extensive club feet. Had a bunch of surgeries. First one was when I was 6 months old, just a tiny little baby, and then had several others since then. And I believe everyone knows that this past August, I ended up having to go to the ER and had emergency surgery because I had a septic infection. That septic infection was directly caused by the arthritis in my feet because the three bones of my ankle, which were fused together when I was 13, they basically have collapsed. They've worn down into sort of this um, untypical mass. It doesn't look like the three bones that they were anymore. They've all just kind of congealed, for lack of a better word, into this bony mass. And that kind of brings up one of the first things I wanted to talk about, which is why are they not just simply doing a ankle replacement, which is one of the options that many of the doctors I've talked to for the past decade, have kind of suggested and said that's the way to go. Well, when they finally looked at it as that being an option, the first surgeon I saw here, he is pretty much specializes in nothing but total ankle replacements. Like, that is his thing. And he is someone who works at Harvard, and he actually deals with special cases like mine, so like the worst of the worst. And he's actually the one who said do a amputation because my ankle structure has morphed so severely. There's not even enough typical structure for him, even if you were to, do a special replacement just for me, that there's no structure for it to really attach to. And he was willing to give it a shot if I wanted to. But the other thing with ankle replacements, like a lot of joint replacements, is they don't last very long. Even in someone with more typical anatomy and bone structure, they usually wear out after about 10 years. With me, because this would basically be sort of a test subject. This would be different from any ankle replacement they've ever done before. There's no guarantee that it would work, and chances are it'd be a trial and error. So with a typical, joint or bone replacement, as I said, you kind of get about 10 years and before it has to be redone. With mine, because it's trial and error, I'd probably have to be having, several dozen surgeries before that 10-year mark just for them to kind of try to tune it, adjust it, get it just right, which not only would be time consuming and expensive, but also a lot of pain. And even after all that, there's still no guarantee they would ever get it right. And then again, at 10 years, they'd have to start the process all over again. So, it just did not make sense to do that. That was basically an option that was just completely off the table. The other thing is that so when they did the triple orthodesis, which is the fusion of my foot, you'll notice that my foot is not at a 90-degree angle the way a normal foot was. It's basically pointed down. So I've been walking on basically my toes for the past 20 years, and I've put wedges under my heel, but that's still not good. I'm trying right now to kind of pull my foot up. Like I can kind of do this sort of weird sideways motion, like with my big toe. There, then you kind of see a little bit better like that. But I can't actually move it up and down. It's fused. So one of the other options they're talking about is they wouldn't be able to fix the ankle, of course, but they would put a wedge in around here. The trouble with that is that in that area of the lower leg, the tibia, chances of it fusing back together after they make the cut, the break, are very low. So specifically, it says in the report, fusion is not guaranteed, and of course, because that's not actually fixing the ankle, which is where the arthritis is. Yeah, it would bring my foot back to 90, but I still would not be walking correctly. I would still be in tons of pain. Again, it probably would not fuse correctly. So that was also not an option. And those are really the only two alternatives that are available other than amputation. So with modern amputation, with modern orthotics, amputation really is the best way to go. So yeah, it's a little overwhelming, obviously pretty scary. I've been doing a lot of research online, reading a lot of forums on Reddit and other places to make sure I'm well informed. Interestingly enough, a lot of folks who have the same clubfoot condition I do, I've actually met a few from the same hospital that I went to as a kid. A lot of them also did like the ankle triple orthodesis, the fusion, and a lot of them also did total ankle replacements when they were able to do so. A lot of them end up doing amputations, and they're a lot happier. So, having discovered that, that's really telling me that this is the best course of action for me. So, just a quick review. Again, just kind of for documentation of the surgeries and scars that I have. So, you can see my big main one is right along here. And at one point, they did cut all the way around. You can see I basically have very thin, annoying scar tissue, which if I ever wore like low cut shoes, even sneakers that have really soft padding in the back, it's even anything even if it was soft kind of cut into that, and it would often open up and kind of I'd get a little wound, sort of a not really infection, but it would definitely rub out right there. So it becomes sort of a oozing sore, kind of gross. The one incision I'm kind of glad to get rid of is going to be this one here, because as you can see, that one's so you can see it the right way. That one's pretty deep, and they're on just at my ankle, and that one is almost like a belly button. And that because the incision has pulled in so deep, I get a lot of dead skin and other gross, nasty stuff in there. So when I go to wash it out and scrub it, I often, I'm rubbing out dead skin and kind of like, when you wash out your toes when you haven't washed them after camping a while, love toe jam, except this is more like ankle incision jam. Again, gross. And then where I've had pins for the various fusions. You can't really see it anymore, but there is a scar hole right there from one pin that went in. You can see that one a little bit better. Then I've got the one there, and that one there, and then the one here in the heel. Then, of course, I've got this one here, and the one that goes across there. So that was kind of another reason why doing a ankle replacement or a wedge probably wasn't a good idea, because there's so much scar tissue on my feet as it is. They already look like they were put into a blender. So trying to pull the skin there and hope it heals and not separate or have other issues. But going back to the fact that I had that septic arthritis this past September, the other reason why to get rid of it is that there's a chance that that could happen, because the gap in the arthritis here in my heel is where basically that all started. And then, of course, it traveled up my leg and ended up going to my knee. And you can see that even though the knee incision is healed, whatever the hell they did there in Arizona, I've had this patch here. I've had my doctors look at it. They're not too concerned, but this area is numb. And my knee also, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but yeah, basically if I try to move it, it makes that really kind of gross popping sound. So the plan is, once they cut off the foot and my leg is healed a little bit, then I'm going to have them take a look at the knee. I did have someone, as I was trying to decide, do I do the knee first, do I do the foot first? And they said that my knee was only grade 2 arthritis. But I know if they need to do an MRI to really see what's going on in there. But I'll do that once they've cut off the foot and dealt with all that stuff. So, yeah, that's the plan. And again, obviously I'm nervous but excited. And yeah, I guess that's all. I'm going to try to post updates, probably just like something on Facebook over the next 2 days, keeping everyone informed of how I'm doing, and just for my own mental well-being, to kind of keep myself calm. Yeah, so wish me luck. And the last thing I want to say is, if you ever wanted to say anything to my right foot, now's the time. Maybe share a happy memory you've had of my foot. Maybe you sucked on his toes. Maybe never mind, forget that one. But yeah, if you just want to say some kind words, share a fond memory you've had of my right foot, now's the time to do so. And I'll keep you guys informed. Later.